episode of What the Fellas Think. This is episode number 32. We're minus one. I'm returning from an absence last week. Jeremy's out this week, but me and Brandon are going to hold it down. Brandon, what's up, my man? Welcome back.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun episode. What is it? Episode 32.
32.
Three, three, two. Hopefully I won't let the fingers right.
So,
Yeah, I think I did it right.
so your right hand
Yeah,
and
okay,
then
here
your
we go.
left hand.
All right, cool. Here we go. Here we go.
No, so for you it'd be no other way around. Do your left hand with three.
Oh, see you done threw me off. You done threw me
Okay.
off.
No, I was looking at me and I was like, okay, it looks right. But anywho, yeah, episode 32. What's the second episode of the new year, and we keep going strong. We're building our platform. We're trying to take things to the next level. First and foremost, podcast is overseen by my man Roy Tiger Brown. Man, at first it was crazy, being such a big Bears fan as he was, that he wasn't around to see this Green Bay victory. But I'm sure he had some hands in that. So that victory is for you, bro. So last week, episode 31, when I went back to watch it, and don't mistake my words, but I was real proud of you guys. I mean, the way you held it down, and I personally think it was best. It seemed like it turned out good that I wasn't there because I would have probably taken away from the seriousness of it. But to not disappoint our fans, I want to go through a little rebuttal on some of the subjects that was touched on last week. And it's not too harsh, but I just kind of peel back layers where as people see one thing, I see more to it. And I want to start with the LA fires. Now, there's nothing comical about that. People are losing their homes. I mean, treasured items, things they can't replace, their lives, and it is just sad. But the ironic thing I find about that is like the celebrities talking about what they lost. Like, first off, you had Paris Hilton who lost her home. You got a fucking place to stay. It's called the Hilton Hotel. Oh, woe is me. And then some celebrities, they was losing their homes. They were more distraught at the fact that they probably couldn't just go to hotels because they were, sold out or booked out. That they had to buckle down and reach out to the relatives that they've been ignoring all these years because the relatives wanted to pat their pockets. So now the celebrities need a place to stay in. Now they're like, their relatives are looking at their phone like, oh, look who's calling now. Guess they need a place to stay, you know. So a lot of relief efforts are going in. I seen the rapper Game out there. He's advocating for the firefighters. We got prisoners who's making. I'm getting different numbers. I'm getting 32 cent. I'm getting $10.16. But no matter the fact, they're risking their lives, even though they committed a crime and was found guilty in a court of law. Here they are out on the front line to, advocate for that second chance. And I think those out there, they should go under review and get reductions for their sentences for putting their lives on the line. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm actually glad you brought that up because I did want to mention that Nick Cannon did pray with those gentlemen, out there fighting the fires, incarcerated firefighters. So that's what they're being labeled as. But I just think it's crazy that those guys are working 12, some of them 20 hours, and they only making $800 a month
I couldn't
doing
imagine them working 20 hours. That would
yeah,
be detrimental to their health. I mean, fatigue sets in, they're working around fire, and not calling you a liar, but if they are, then shit, that's fucking slave labor. And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, that stuff is around the clock. They gotta control it. There ain't no breaks for that. That's why it's hats off to the firefighters out
right.
there. Hats off to them. But especially just speaking on these incarcerated firefighters, I don't think it's you should spare no expense when they risking their lives for that. And if you're gonna pay them that way, at least give them some time off of their sentence. Like you
I,
said, I think that that should be, they're giving their life, risking their life. I'm sorry, they're risking their
Y-
life for this, and this ain't nothing to play with. That stuff is spread it,
Yes.
and
And a lot of celebrities are really reaching out and advocating for those firefighters too. So keep up the good job, fellas, and hopefully we can get through this. And in desperation for water, I've been seeing videos of helicopters dipping into home private residences pools for water to help fight the fire, which I think shouldn't be a big deal. They're not at home. They've evacuated. The water's there. The water can be replaced. I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's a need. It's like I don't know why this just popped in my head, but years ago there was this bank heist, which was modeled after the movie. Well, the movie Heat was modeled off of that actual heist. And in that case, the criminals had outgunned the police officers. Police officers only had shotguns and revolvers and handguns. They had to. I don't know what the word requisition. They went to gun stores to match the gunfire of those heisters, and I comparing guns to water. But yeah, it's there. It can be used. Use it. You can get the water back, but we need that water now. And it's funny, I don't know if this was mentioned amongst you guys, how last year they reduced the firefighters' budget in LA. So no, I'm sure those people that voted for the reduction is kind of like, doing that Homer Simpson backing into the bushes thing. They don't want to be seen because who's to say what those resources, if had they had that resources, what impact or what great impact they would have right now at this moment. So yeah,
well,
shout out. Yeah,
well, that's the thing too. I feel like California's been fighting wildfires every year. Like there's no way there should be no viable reason to decrease their budget. Like these fires are gonna be coming every
right.
year,
And they do.
so that you gotta find some type of way. I mean, they got large bodies of water next to California. I mean, there should be some type of reservoir built up somewhere for them to do this, but ain't no their government officials there have not done their jobs. I don't think they have, and I know people are looking for somebody to point the blame at, whether they say it's the mayor, Karen, I forget her last name, but or the governor. I don't think that's just the case. I think it's a lot of stuff that's going on with just corporations there not doing their fair shares of it. It's a lot of stuff going on, and
Right.
the water there should be used to prevent that because you're losing properties, you're losing homes, you're losing business. Like all the insurance companies there, and how fucked up it is. Excuse my language, but it's so effed up to see an insurance company say, "I can't insure you. I'm out." And these fires are happening. People are losing their homes, or they're upcharged. Say you need a $30,000 deductible for us to cover you.
Right.
Like that type of stuff is crazy to me.
You guys covered that last week too
And,
about paying your monthly insurance, whether it be auto, fire, home, you know, and for the most part, I want to say 95% of the time you don't utilize it, whether it's auto, home, or whatever. Uh, and one, they renege when it comes time to file a claim. They'll find any loophole to say, "Oh, you're not eligible," or yeah, that really sucks. But to add a point, and I would have made that point last week. You know, most major corporations. Let's take for example Warren Buffett. I believe he owns Geico. So the money collected from Geico is used to feed his other businesses. So to it's sort of like a seed company basically. They're basically stealing money from us, and they're using that money to fund other businesses. So that's a normal practice. That Warren Buffett is just an example. Again, you're not using it. How about a Good Samaritan award or something at the end of the year? No, seriously, for safe driving and taking care of your home, not causing any fires or anything. I think we should get a kickback or something, like a little stipend or something for not having to utilize the surfaces. It's a foolproof business. I mean, it's making money.
My thing with this is though, just like the stuff that happened in Maui with the houses being burned there, it was reported it would cost $5 billion to repair all the damage there. You got billionaires out here worth 80 billion. You got Elon Musk out here worth 350 billion. But they're the main ones pointing at the government officials. Well, they're not doing it, but you have the power to do it too. So I think it's a whole bigger picture than just government officials. It's it's if you say you care about something and you have the power to affect it, is you can do it. 5 billion is a drop in the hat for Amazon CEO or Elon Musk or Warren Buffett. It's a drop in the hat for them. So when it comes to stuff like this, you can impact so much. And instead of doing that though, you're seeing a lot of these rich people just point fingers. You can't the pointing fingers. My mom always said this. If you point the finger, three pointing back at you. So it's like, you're part of the problem too though. But you can say it. You can say, hey, this government person ain't doing this job, this official ain't doing their job. But you have a ability to affect change too. What are you doing? What do you do? You got 350 billion drop in the bucket for you to affect lives. You can do that too. But
So,
instead, you sit.
I'm kind of on the fence with that. I hear what you're saying. It's a great point, but here's my counterpoint. If I was in their shoes, you know, how would I feel? I mean, why should I have? I mean, if you want to be a good Samaritan and do it just out the kindness of your heart, so be it. But why should, just like taxing them more just because they make more money? I mean, millionaires make more money. Why should you tax them more? Because they're making millions. They work for it. They built it, whether, you know, hard work or, just luck of the draw, whatever, it's theirs. So I started with saying, I'm kind of on the fence about taxing those rich folks more. It's just like, because if I was rich, I'd be like, shit, why you want to take my money? But here I am. I'm the other 95%. Of course, I'm gonna say it because it ain't affecting me. So and
Well,
I say that, just to be real about it. Like, how would I feel about that if I was the people being targeted, tax them more, or they should give more, or whatever. Maybe they should lobby to not have these thieves in office, these governors and mayors that's, misusing funds and everything, cutting funding and stuff like that. So I don't say it to be just to be a counterpoint, just to go against you, but it's just like, really, how would I feel about that if I was in their shoes? Now,
look at it.
sometimes these guys they give and you just don't know about it.
Look at it this way though. Look at it this way. It's just like when you see in a movie, let's say Batman for instance, billionaire. He's a billionaire, but in the end, he donated his entire property for orphan kids. He's giving college funds and all that through the movie, through the movie. But that makes people look at you a different light. You have resources. Your resources can help when you see others not doing it. Just like, and I hate to turn this into like a superhero thing, but just like Iron Man, when he gives college funds and all that stuff, that's that's doing something to affect the world. That's what I'm talking about. It ain't the
Yes.
fact it ain't the fact that you have money that you built up. It's my money. Don't point the finger if you're not doing nothing at all. That's my point. Like you're just gonna sit back and point the finger, say this is her fault, that this is his fault, but you ain't doing nothing. What gives you right to point the finger?
Right.
That's
And
my point.
and again, I don't want to play counterpoint. Again, I'm not trying to be take everything and flip it around on you. Yeah, you're right. They are movies, but let's look at those movies, individually. They gave back. These characters gave back. Uh, funding grants, to conduct experiments or inventions or whatever. Tony Stark, Batman, Bruce Wayne, you know, donating his home. Well, at one point, his company was given money until it stopped making money. But in the end, when he faked his death, he gave his house to the orphans. Yeah, that's great, but I don't know. Do you become a selfless asshole when you become rich? Do you become selfish? Do you turn into Scrooge McDuck? I mean, and we're going to get into this. We're going to talk about President Carter. Even after his term, up to his death, and when he was able-bodied, he was doing he was helping building homes for the less fortunate. That was just his heart and giving. You know, it's not always about money, but it was in his heart to help out some way. So I hope these celebrities have it in their heart to help out, and they're just not publicizing it. They don't do it for the glitz and glamour, but I don't think they're totally responsible for bailing people out of their situations.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's a big picture. The government's not doing their part, but if you're not doing your part and you have all these resources, you can't point the finger. That's what I'm saying. That's my
Oh, okay,
ultimate
not
point.
in
You
that I
can't
agree.
you can't point the finger at the government when you're not doing your part, but you have all these resources. I if I didn't explain that clearly,
No,
that's
no, no,
my
no, it
fault.
does. And
But
then you got people like John Bezos from Amazon, who in his divorce gave up half his income. I think it was like 150 billion went to his ex-wife, and he turned around and got that money right back. That's so for him to donate 1 billion is just like me finding $10 in my couch and be like, ooh, but it's not a big deal. It's just I found $10 in my couch.
let me I'll talk about a video with Jeff Bezos, and I'm glad you brought that up too. There's a video of him walking through his one of his plants, and he shakes the hand of a worker, and it's all of like a 20-second interaction. He shook his hand, said it's great working for you. It's the best company I ever worked for. In that amount of time, that worker made $1.50. Guess how much Jeff Bezos made in that amount of time in 20 seconds?
5 million. I'm just throwing a number out.
A little over $11,000 in
Hmm.
20 seconds.
Hmm.
That's how crazy it is to me when a person has all these resources. It's only so much stuff in the world you can buy.
Right.
It's only so much stuff in the world you can buy.
You don't need no gold-plated toilets and frivolous shit like that.
That's what I mean. You have all the resources, just like the government. Just like the government, they have all the resources. They don't do their part all the time. They do it some of the time, but they don't do their part all the time. You can do your part too, though.
And even if it's not monetary, they got
So,
connections that they could, provide, whether it's locally or their international connections. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Um, but I mean, after this time, here it is a week later, and they're still dealing with these LA fires. It's crazy. And why aren't they not using ocean water? Is there a reason behind that? I
I have
mean,
no idea.
I mean, just to put out the fire. I mean, no, we're not going to put it, in their water system, but it's water. It should be able to put out the fire. It's salt water, so it won't intensify the fire. But if anybody knows, comment. Let me know. I want to know. If not, I'll just Google it later. So another thing you guys were talking about was the FS1 network and the what's going on there. And I won't. No, I'm being serious. Before I started, I was trying to look up whoa, excuse me, sorry, ooh, came from the soul. The terms you can't use on platforms like YouTube. There's certain words, and we were talking about this off camera. So the allegations that's being thrown around um, at FS1, and what kind of struck me, the point that really struck to me that you guys are talking about is that everybody knows that if that's true, everybody's aware of that environment. We worked places where we saw it on the lower level, and we just laughed at it because it's not our problem, whatever. But I have a certain soft spot, I guess I'd say, for women that know what the environment is and have to deal with it, and still be the bigger person. Because if they lash out, they could get blackballed throughout the industry, and good luck finding a job. So they just end up having to take it. So first thing first, I can't wait for a female-led uh, sports network, so I could go work there and get hit on and have a. But no,
Well,
it's terrible that they have to go through that environment and have a thick skin about it. That's I thought we were bigger than that. I used to hear stories about back in the day in the 70s, early 80s, where businessmen would have a bottle of bourbon in a file cabinet. They pull it out after hours. They wouldn't get drunk the day, but it was after 5 o'clock. They pull it out. Him and his buddy will have a drink, and and guys in machine shop or workshops, they would have posters of like women, and whether hopefully dressed in bikinis or just simply plain nude because it was a guy's environment. And then when women start to flow into that environment, they had to have the thick skin to ignore it and not, hey toots, that looks like you, just stuff like that. They had to deal with that. And God forbid, I'm not going to make a reference to the plight of certain races. I think, I mean, it's a struggle in itself, but we're not going to bring races in. But women had to deal with that environment in the workplace. And I think by now, they still should not have to be dealing with that type of work environment where guys can say and do things that makes them uncomfortable, and they just gotta hold that thick skin like it doesn't bother them, but underneath is just kind of tearing them apart. That sucks.
I think this is the thing, and I talked about this on 30 episode 31. I think these sports shows are taking the business model of Telemundo. And if you ain't watched Telemundo, if you have, you know what I'm talking about. But I won't go into that. But one thing about like that environment, it's a male dominated environment. And
Well, no,
I remember.
let's tell them about that environment in Telemundo. I know where you're going with this. I mean, speak freely on it. Let them know for those that don't watch
All right,
Telemundo.
all right. Well, it seems to me they're hiring very attractive women for a purpose to get ratings and boost their ratings and draw attention, which is the greatest thing that sells. Well, one product that sells in this world all time throughout history has been sex. So if you can emulate that in some way, it's gonna sell. Yeah, that's why you got all fans or models out here that are multimillionaires. But
But no,
any to get on my
the weather women in particular on Telemundo, I mean, they're very attractive. It seems like they're following a type. And as they're standing there up against a model, shapes and curves are being, because they're basically up against the teleprompter or the screen. And so they're basically showing their outline, their curves. And to the majority of men, that's very appealing. And I say the majority of men because some men like different types of women, but this is the case of sex being sold.
and that's my thing. I feel like these sports shows here now are doing this. They're following this model. And no, not to shame them in any way of doing this, but I remember First Takes host Molly Karen, I want to say, what's her name? She was on a football show. And then I believe one of the guys, I think it was maybe been Terrell Davis, but I forget who it was. I don't know who it was. But he asked her to hike the ball. And now Molly Karen has on a short skirt and he's asking her to bend over and hike the ball. This is on live TV. You know, everyone's seen this clip. You can look it up. So it's not something I'm making up. It's something that really happened.
No,
He
for this
asked,
once, I support Brandon on this. I did see this.
yeah, he asked her to hike the ball, and that to me gives a perfect example of the environment that these women are in. This is a male-dominated area where these women have to navigate in, and I respect them for climbing up in that world.
So, Brandon, did she
But it's
comply? Did she hack the ball?
no, she did not, and I
Okay,
respect her for doing it too.
taking a stand. Yeah.
Hats off to her. Hats off to her. Strong, strong, and stand on your morals. Don't let that money or whatever dictate your actions. And I wish that a lot of people out here would take that, and instead they let money dictate their actions and throw morals completely out the window. And that's why I feel like Joy Taylor became a topic in that environment as well, because they're using clips of her saying if a man fine enough, he got enough money, boundaries go out the window. And then talk about us sleeping our way up to the top. That if that's true, I don't know if it's true. Alleged, but if it is true, that just makes it even harder for women coming up in that area. Because now it's like you're looked at, oh, she did it though. You see how she got, now you gotta do it instead of working hard. That's why I put Molly Karam and Joy Taylor in two different categories. She seems to be the one that stands on morals, and just from what I've seen, I don't know personally. From what I've seen, it doesn't seem to be the other way around. Just from the outside looking in, I don't know personally, but that just seems to be a total different switch between those two people, and I respect one more than the other. Just saying. I won't
No.
go into full details on that.
So, I think that's it about the rebuttals for episode 31. Again, you did a great job, and Jeremy wasn't so silent. Jeremy, no, and I'm messing with him, but it's something in progress. But I like the way that you guys carried it, and I'm not sure he appreciated when when he can't make it, and we carry on the show. But yeah, great job, guys, and I'm glad that the world doesn't stop if I can't make it. So next topic we're going to hit on is we're starting with the serious and working our way back to the lighthearted. Uh, the passing of the 39th president, U.S. President Jimmy Carter. She- Brandon, you wasn't even born when he was in office.
I
I
wasn't even
was
thought of.
right. Mama probably didn't even know daddy then. Uh, because I was maybe about I don't know. I forgot what term he was in. I want to say he ran from 80 to 84. if I'm correct. I was probably about, I wasn't 10 years old. But anywho, after a long illness, deteriorating health, he finally succumbed, and just like all the other presidents or big officials, they did their routine of honoring him in the state capitol, and they had his service in his hometown of Georgia, which is also the same place that he's buried. But the thing that I want to talk about most about his passing was his funeral. And one, kudos to Kamala Harris. I thought it was an excellent speech that she gave. It was very great. But on the flip side, it's the side eye that Kamala gave Obama because he was engaging in conversation with Trump. Now, to be a fly on the wall or in the pews, I would really like to know what they were talking about. From what we saw, George Bush, I mean, Trump and Obama were sitting next to each other, and then Barack leans over and he says something to Trump. He's engaged in conversation with Trump. I mean, he could have been cordial and not said nothing, and I don't think Trump would have cared less, but they were engaging in conversation, and it sparked a smirk from Trump. And I don't see why I don't see the big deal with that. I mean, see, like even in the workplace, you have to be cordial with people that you really despise to maintain that level of professionalism. And here we had Obama being cordial and Donald Trump reciprocating. You know, if he was really that much of a demon, I don't think I think he would have made it clear. Look, I don't know if they sat him in order, but he'd be like, "Hey, I don't want to sit next to him." But that really pissed Kamala Harris off, and I would just like to know what they're talking about. What was your reaction when you saw that, Brandon?
My reaction to that is everybody can agree to disagree when it comes to that. I just feel like that, and first of all, I don't despise. If I'm Obama, I'm like Obama. I don't despise anyone. Only people I despise is racists, you know murderers and rapists and all the evil people. That's what I despise. Truly evil. But and I don't know if Trump is that. He's been accused of some things, but I don't know if he is that. But I just see agree to disagree. We can all be cordial. We can all be in the same space. And we can all have different ideas and different opinions. And that's my thought process on that.
And I don't know if you noticed especially during his first presidential office tenure, Barack Obama, people, delegates from other countries would not acknowledge him when coming to visit. And when they would be greeted by him and his staff, the rest of his staff being not black, I'm not going to say they were just all white, they would get greeted and have handshakes, and people would purposely bypass, Barack Obama with his hand out and not shake his hand. And I've seen it where it's like a group of four people, and the first person would ignore him and shake the rest of the hands. Or, if he was on the last of the line, they wouldn't shake his hand. And he would still have his hand out for the second, third, and fourth person who also didn't shake his hand. He dealt with a lot as the first black president, and I said one of the things, and everybody was saying, a lot of people were saying this. I ain't gonna say everybody. It's like maybe he can legalize weed. I'm like, don't let him get in office and let that be one of the things he do. If it's really important, somebody else to do it. But I couldn't have, the black man as the leader of the free world saying, let's make weed legal. That's just like, him doing a church's chicken commercial. You don't want to. But he dealt with a whole lot in his first presidential run, and very well could have been in his second one as well. But he had a thick skin. It's just like, okay, I know they don't want to shake my hand. Just like when Kamala Harris had a debate with Donald Trump, I really believe Trump didn't want to shake her hand, so he went straight to this podium, and she went to his podium, and he was like, "Okay, bitch, you put me on Front Street, so I'm gonna shake your hand, but I really don't want to shake your hand." But you know, uh, Barack Obama was a big man about that, and many other things that was going on during that time, where he was trying to heal and bring unity when there was a lot of chaos and mayhem, being brought forth into the black community as well. Like we had that gentleman in the Carolinas that shot up the black church. You know, if I believe correctly, when he was apprehended, they took him to Burger King and got him something to eat. You know, and here we are, a black church, people getting shot up. He was there and he was trying to heal. And what better way to do it is he broke out into a rendition of Amazing Grace. And it was just like that was the best he could do, and that was just like, hey, let's get the healing. So props to him. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying based off of him, but Trump can't be too bad for him to be engaging in conversation. And who's to say that Trump didn't engage in conversation with him first, just because at the end of the day, it's office politics, so to say. You was president, I was president. You really didn't do a bad job. So, we can talk politics. You're an intelligent man. Let's have conversation. But yeah, Kamala Harris really did seem to have an issue with that. She gave that old stank little turned up look. I was just like, wow. I think that was, the eyesore right there is you making that face on national TV. Be careful what you're doing when there's cameras around. So yeah, rest in peace, Jimmy Carter, and if my memory serves me correct, we're going into lighter things. We can talk about another Jimmy right now, Jimmy Butler, of currently with the Miami Heat, but not for too long. So just getting a better foothold and understanding of it, it's like Jimmy wanted a max contract, and being that I believe he's 36 years old, it would be a bad investment on the Miami Heat organization. So no, we can't give you that. And because you think you and Jimmy was a blessing in the beginning, but I think it kind of went to his head. I think, and here's me claiming fault. I took up for him. Oh, Jimmy just likes to play the role. He wants to get everybody else involved. But when we start slacking, he'll step up. To be a leader, you have to lead. You don't just, you know, be on the side taking a smoke break. And then when the boxes start piling up, oh, okay, I'll go help these motherfuckers out. You're a leader. You should be leading. And I think I said this before. Jimmy, we don't need you no more. Tyler Hero is stepping up. Bam has already been stepping up. We can we're a safe haven. Players want to come to Miami. We got something lined up. There's I forgot there's three top tier players that are willing to come to Miami and play. So Jimmy, we don't need you. You can leave. But no, and I'm serious. That is as a diehard Miami fan. So there was I took a snapshot of this. Excuse me, folks. I'll be reading from the teleprompter, but now I'm reading out on my phone. Something I caught off of social media, and it's a quote from Pat Riley. Caption says Pat Riley dropped a blunt reminder of what having a contract with an NBA team means. And this is Pat Riley's words, the Godfather. I understand this generation of players and how they want to go about living their lives. While you're under contract with us, you do us owe us something. Your collective bargaining agreement contract says that. So don't ever take that lightly. And we have a very cooperative group of people. First of all, that statement right there, when he's talking about this generation, they just feel like they're owed too much too soon. They feel entitled. It's not like the old days. It's like, you know, Magic stayed with the Lakers through thick and thin. Barkley did that pretty much for 90%, 85% of his career. He stuck with the 76ers. But team players stuck with the teams and stuck it out, you know. And a player come in because he did so well in college, thinking you owe him the world, and then after 1 year playing, he's like, "Oh, I should be captain, or I should be this, and I should be that." No, you have to earn that. And I hate to put Jimmy in that category, but let's look at his history with other teams. Now, yeah, there's somebody that's probably looking to take him on and try to get the most out of him at his 36 years of age, because basically that's saying you're on the downhill slope of your career. And even though he does have a lucrative coffee business, that he's building up, great for him. But if you want to, as a basketball player, I need you to put more effort in. So I need to hurry up and get down there and see him before the trade. But yeah, it's time to go because you're a cancer to the team, Jimmy. I appreciated you when you came along, but you changed, man. You changed. So I hope you find with another team that you think you couldn't get here. I'm in Chicago. Get in Miami. I speak in Miami like I'm there, like because I'm such a Miami Heat fan. But
I I think I think these athletes today, and Michael Jordan talked about this. This is one of the only times I really agree with Michael Jordan because I don't think he's a great person off the court. But that's neither here nor there. But he talked about how players today are getting things off potential, what they could be, what you could do. When
oh, this
his
is just apple juice, y'all. This is grape juice.
when in Jordan's time, you had to perform first before you got the contract. And that today's time it's not like that. It's you got a 42-inch vertical, a 4.5 40. Like you might do some things. You can bench press 300 pounds and squat 600 pounds. You might do some things. Let's give him 40 million. Let's give him 60 million. And it's not just the NBA. So I don't want to shed negative light on just the NBA. I think it's the NFL too. Like
Right.
these organizations are giving money out to players that just have shown they don't care just because their potential is so high. Let's just give him the money. He's earned that. Nah, he ain't earned. And Jimmy Butler is like the perfect case to me. If you go through multiple organizations and you're always pointed to as the troublemaker on every team you've been to, that's a problem.
Well, he's the common denominator. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Trouble
the
follows him.
that's the problem. The thing is, and you should learn this from when you watch guys like Antonio Brown or guys like hell, even I think Draymond Green is heading down this path too. Uh, Ron Artest in later years of his career was able to make up a little bit. The NBA will move on without you. Every organization can move on without you. Whether you're in the NFL is going to move on without you. That's why I speak, and not to change subjects, but I speak more like more intentful when it comes to like people like Zion Williams, because you have an opportunity here. You have an opportunity like opportunity of a lifetime. You realize like thousands of people try out for the NBA and they don't make it.
Hmm.
They don't make it, and you made it, and you getting 30 million a year. There's no way you should be slacking off. No way you should be lazy. No way you should be falling asleep in team meetings. Now, I'm not saying they doing this, but I'm just saying. And that if someone paying you $30 million to play basketball, man, you better be focused. You ain't gotta solve no calculus. You ain't gotta you ain't gotta I'm being real. I'm being rich. You ain't gotta
You ain't got to
worry
cut
about
limber in cold weather.
you ain't got to do no mathematical equations to see how this ball gonna drop in this area, how much force it's gonna apply over here, and this. You ain't got to do none of that. You ain't gotta come up with no computer programs. You ain't gotta protect from cyber threats. You ain't gotta do none of that. You ain't gotta go into this fire and pull out 10 bodies, or you ain't gotta have a shootout with the this gang or that gang. You ain't gotta protect this neighborhood, that neighborhood. You ain't doing none of that. You're playing basketball and you getting $30 million. I'm showing up to every meeting on time. You turn the lights on, I'm in the front.
You know what? And not
That's
just the meetings, practice too. So,
yeah.
so as you probably can guess, audience, we're kind of segueing into Zion Williams being late for a flight for a game, where he is fined and suspended one game. Uh, Photos show that prior to that during that time when he should have been on a plane, he was in, was it a Wendy's drive-through? Did you see that photo?
I don't come on, man. Come on.
You
You
know
can't.
what? You can, you got enough in you to have arrangements to have Wendy's hot and ready for you, waiting for you at the plane. You know, I'm sorry, Zion, but when you came into the league, we had high hopes. You know, you was ripping up shoes on the court and everything. You showed up to the NBA overweight, and to me, you really ain't produced. So guess what? You should have that attitude, that prima donna mentality, especially when it talks about you being traded.
I just don't get it. To me, you work so hard to get to a certain point. Why would you do something that's gonna waste all of this, like all that effort to get to this point? It's just gonna be a waste because you can't show up to meetings, because you overweight, because you are not playing 65% of the season, and you out for BS reasons. You get injured all the time. Like you got to take. It's the same approach to me I take with and not saying these are the same players because I think Kawhi Leonard takes it serious. But to me, if you getting hurt that much, you got to change up something. You got to change up something because if Grant Hill was able to do it, and Grant Hill getting hurt a lot, Grant Hill was able to do it, change up his whole routine to be healthy for the league. And I don't think these players are taking the same the same. I don't think these players. Sorry, my kids are calling.
But no, so what he's saying, at the end of the day, you get there. Once you get there, the job is not over. You got to maintain it. You got to keep showing up. You got to improve. And if your body is the tool for you making this money, drop the weight, uh, get in shape, run, because you're running up and down the court. No, you got in the NBA. It's not over. You got to maintain your existence in the NBA, or you're
it's
just going to get flopped around, passed around until you're finally dropped.
it's the fighter mentality. When boxers first started boxing, they not making millions of dollars. They only making like 5,000, 10,000 here, and they got to pay their health insurance and all this stuff out of their own pocket and pay their trainer. So like that stuff is like it's the same thing. They building up. You building up, and you got in the NBA. You should take that stuff serious.
The
I'm
job
on.
isn't over. You're
Yeah,
there, but you got to maintain that existence.
yeah. Because you to believe me, the NBA gonna go. It's a machine. It's gonna go on without you. You can get on the ride or you can get off the ride. And it's the same thing with Jimmy Butler. It's gonna go on without you. So you either get on the ride or you get off the ride. It's your choice.
Be part of the solution, because I don't care what you're doing in life, you can be replaced.
Exactly.
You can
Exactly.
replace. You know that phrase, no one's irreplaceable? That is so true. I don't care what you bring to the table, but once you start slacking, guess what? I'm going to find somebody that has that determination, that drive, that's showing up to practice early and staying late after the fact, just because they want to make it and they want to improve, while you know you're running off to do athletic shoe commercial or some type of advertisement. You know what? Don't forget what got you there, because once you lose your job in the NBA, they're not gonna want you for endorsements no more. So yeah, you can get there, but it's your job to maintain your position or grow your position. That's anything in life. And it's funny because I was thinking about that today at work. And I did actually want to kind of end the show, which I'm not ending the show. I did want to kind of end the show with something like that because that the same philosophy came in. It's like I'm here, and it's not that I can rest. I got to keep going every day, or they're gonna find somebody that working twice as hard or harder than me. And just take that in life. That's what we got to do. We got to keep going. Just when you get there, it's the ride is not over with.
It's I look at it like this: is always somebody waiting to replace
There's
you. And
somebody studying you, learning
sure,
your tricks, and he's trying to build or his or her, self up, and based off of your foundation. So when they get there, they probably be like, "Man, I wouldn't be here because of you," and no, really, I wouldn't be here because of you. But good luck in your future endeavors because they don't see no value in you anymore because you got too comfortable, and I'm hungry.
facts.
So well, that's crazy how that speaks in the atmosphere. Because I was thinking about that today, and I was like, how can I incorporate that in the show? And I thank you, Zion, for being fat and lazy and wanting Wendy's.
But it ain't just
I honestly would have gave up on you 2 years into your rookie year. Because all right, the hype was there. You got injured. You were still coming in sloppy. I'm surprised they didn't have any, under some like some training regimen. And again, it's not their responsibility. College ball and NBA ball, it kind of there's a big difference in it. It's like you can be great in college, but you probably won't resonate well in the pros. So you came in with a shitty attitude or shitty mindset, and this is what is leading to right now. You're being traded around like a piece of meat or whatever. Your value has disappeared from the Pelicans organization.
and I don't and we're not gonna like hype on just Zion Williams because I think it's more than just him that's doing this. There's other athletes out here doing this too. And one thing I wanna uh, highlight as well is Karen Lacey. Is he's an LSU college wide receiver who has a warrant out for his arrest. And I want to make sure I get this right. That it's uh it's multiple charges that he's looking at here. He's looking at, let me see, let me make sure I got this right. Just want to make sure I got it right. He's looking at negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless driving. That's everything he's looking at right now. And he's, let me see how old he is. He's going on 21 right now. So that's the rest of you got a long long life ahead of him. And this is the
Long
mistakes
life
he's gonna
ahead of
make.
him, and the NFL is probably got their hands up saying we don't want no parts of him.
Exactly. And I
So it
think
ended before it even got started.
and it's the same thing, and not to bring up Henry Ruggs, he was a receiver for the Raiders. He felony DUI, killing someone, driving around under the influence, killing someone, and it going his whole career, and he is currently in prison right now. And I don't understand how athletes don't get it. Like you at this point, I'm disappearing. Like you won't catch me in no club, you won't catch me on the street, none of that. I'm disappearing because it's a lot of money involved. It's a lot of endorsements coming your way, and it's gonna be a lot of people, whether women, uh, uh, users, family members you didn't know you had. They coming out the woodworks for you. So I'm disappearing. I don't want to be a part of it. But these athletes today, they just jump straight into it. They in the clubs.
They want to be in the midst of it. They want to
Yeah,
be in the middle of it. They want to keep it real.
yeah.
You're keeping it real stupid. You know what? They should open up a club based on your worth. That way, if you got something to lose, you got those people in that club in that environment where you can just party and have a good time. Nobody should be jealous of each other because we're on the same playing field. But if you mix yourself up in the local club, you got guys mean mugging you. They're pissed off because all the girls are giving their attention towards that individual. Oh, fuck that motherfucker, this and that. And you don't have to do nothing, but because a fight broke out because some guy was looking at you, you're gonna have people coming at you with lawsuits. So just being there is just a asking for trouble, so to say. There's other places I'm sure you can go where people of your stature that you could go and hang out because they got stuff to lose just as well, and they want a place where they can hang out. That's what I would do if I'll call it the $1 million boy club or something like that. Something just something like that where you couldn't get in unless you show proof of your net worth. That way you can get in, have a good time. Whatever happens outside. In my parking lot, you can't get in my parking lot. It's probably it'd be gated. This is just me just brainstorming. It'd be gated, parking lot and everything. Security on the outside to push away people that can't get in for trying to hang around. That's just me. I'm just going off the cuff right now. But yeah, you putting yourself in those situations where I just want to have a good time. Why can't I have a good time like anybody else? Well, you're not anybody else.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. Like LeBron is a brand. It's no longer just LeBron James, the man. It's LeBron James, the brand. That brand has to move in a right angle, and it can't be all wishy washy over here doing this and that. Can't be
Hmm.
that way. You're a brand, and you never hear certain players, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or hell, even Aaron Rodgers, even though I hate him, he's a terrible person. But you never hit those stories with them. Like, and it's always our side, our athletes, doing it. And I get it. Some of us have never had nothing, but we gotta move better because when you get it, you can move so many people up with you.
Right?
Like you gotta move better because we too focused on the what did they say, fast money culture. Like I call it that because you got people out here. Oh, I let me start an OnlyFans because I can make 2 million a month. Let me do some content creative. They making millions. We the fast money culture, and it don't work that way. Like people want to skip out on the hard work and just get straight to it. And when you get straight to it, excuse me, look at what's happening to these people. You got many examples out here. Antonio Brown, who was ultra talented. Look where he at now, out of the NFL. Don't have a contract. Ain't nobody willing to take a risk on him anymore. You got multiple athletes that's just not in the league anymore. Beating on women. You know, Dallas players. I won't mention names, but but beating on women. Domestic incidents. Ray Rice. All this stuff going on. It's too much. I think these athletes need to really look at themselves in the mirror. When you get to these points, it's time to move different. You need to move different.
It is. And I guess, what comes with the big contracts, and all the endorsement deals, we lose our humbleness and our down to earthness. Whereas at one point, treat to you was a Popeyes dinner. And now you throw away lobster because it tastes a little bit overcooked. Just taking things for granted, so to say. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's the
again,
worst thing.
be happy, proud of where you're at, but remember that to remain humble and to keep working to maintain that position, because behind that is somebody with good intent. They just want to be something in life too. That's probably eyeing your position, or modeling what you're doing as their motivation. And that'll turn around and be the downfall of you is you get too complacent, and while they're still hungry, they're moving up. Next thing you know, you're answering to them. You know, stay humble, folks. Stay humble. Stay humble. I have no. I hate that. I got a segment, and I'm stealing this from Ice T. I say I'm not a hater, but I hate shit. What was? Damn it, I forgot. Damn, I just forgot that quick. Okay, I didn't take my Alpha Brain. Alpha Brain. It helps you with your memory. I don't know. I just forgot what point I was about to make, and it was really something solid. Okay, it'll come to me at 3 o'clock in the morning when I should be asleep. That yeah. I'm sorry. So I pulled us off track. So yeah. Stay humble. Don't forget where you came from because you can easily go back there,
Mhm.
or get sent back. Uh, all the people you shitted on going up, you'll see them again on the way back down. So what else we got, Brandon? NFL playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Man, there's a lot of upsets this weekend. Fuck Green Bay.
Which one shocked you the most?
Um, Actually, the Green Bay game kind of shocked me. I just knew that they were going to be advancing to the next round. That was kind of a. I know Pittsburgh lost. Who else lost? Who else is
Chargers.
the
Chargers
Chargers?
lost. Tampa Bay.
Right. And how could I forget the Chargers? Because they had to move their game to Arizona to play because they couldn't play in LA.
Yes. The most exciting game to me, I'm not shitting on the Vikings, but the Rams beating the Vikings, that was a game that I was excited to see because I'm a Matthew Stafford fan, and I like to see, especially when he beat Detroit. That's gonna be that's gonna be hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
Because I think there are always people like, oh, Detroit won the trade. Detroit won the trade because Detroit got Jared Goff, they got Amon St. Brown, they got multiple defensive players, offensive linemen, Panay Sewell, they got all those people, and all the Rams got was Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford going there and demolish all. That's gonna be who on the trade? The Rams.
Oh yeah, hands down.
That's the one I'm excited to see. But who we never got this because we asked Jeremy, but we didn't get to ask you who your Super Bowl pick. Who you think going to the Super Bowl?
Um, I would have thought honestly, I probably had like Green Bay or Minnesota going all the way.
Hmm.
So I guess won't be seeing them.
But
And
who your
as a
matchup? Who your
as
matchup?
I don't know, I can't comment on that. Let's get back to me on that next week.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I was for sure thinking it was going to be the likes of Green Bay or Minnesota representing the NFC in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl rather. And obviously I was wrong.
Well, you know who I thought.
Hmm?
You know who I thought was going to be representing the NFC.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
You know who I thought was going to be representing in the NFC.
Who's that?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be the sleeper team to ruin everybody thing, but
Okay.
it's looking like it's gonna be the Rams that's gonna ruin everybody's dream.
So who did you have for your final for the Super Bowl matchup?
I had Tampa Bay versus Baltimore,
Okay.
with obviously Baltimore taking. Yeah.
And that's even more of a reality now.
Well, Baltimore side, but Tampa Bay, they at home like you are.
So yeah, I really and forgive me, I really haven't been really following the NFL much
Mm.
this season. Just, okay, they won. Just I was more concerned about my confidence pool and making my picks, and that in Minnesota probably advancing far because they look like they was doing pretty good this season. Well, the prediction was the NFC North would be led by the Bears. That I remember they said that in the beginning of the season. How wrong they were. But
Yeah, that's a letdown right there. Boy.
so we have the number 6 pick. Am I correct?
We have
In nine.
the 10th pick. We have the 10th pick,
Okay.
which
And
we should get something good at that pick.
what do you think we should go for?
It's got to be in the trenches. It's got to be a defensive lineman or offensive lineman. It's got to be. You got no choice, and it's multiple talented players out in this draft. As far as defense, this draft is stacked with defensive linemen and offensive linemen.
Well, I heard the Bears had their sights on the quarterback. I just wanted to see your reaction with that.
I hope they ain't that stupid. I hope they ain't that stupid. Well,
Well,
I don't know. I'd be shocked. They interviewing all these coaches, and it ain't necessary to interview all these coaches because all of them ain't that good. I can count on one hand the number of coaches, and you may not know them, but I'm a Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame, college coach. Aaron Glenn, Detroit. Ben Johnson, Detroit offensive coordinator. Joe Brady, and pretty much that's it. But I'm gonna throw my fourth one out there, Lovey Smith, because I hope he come back. My fifth one out
wouldn't
there. I'm
that be
sorry.
something?
Yeah, that'd be a story if they
So
get
the
Lovey
draft
Smith.
isn't into April, correct?
Yeah, April 18th, I want to say.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they have a coach before the draft.
They got to. They got to. You can't wait around for that. There's got to be a system in place.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So what else we got, Brandon? We pretty much done went through everything that we had on our list,
Well,
except
our segment, the fun facts.
yeah. So I was gonna say yeah, except for the fun facts. We
But
haven't touched those yet.
I did want to touch on a current event, that just was brought to my attention. The prison guards in New York that they are on video, all of them have been fired right now, and they're bringing criminal charges to them as well. But the prison guards that beat the inmate in prison on video in New York,
Right.
and they're beating this man, choking this man. He's
While he's
handcuffed
handcuffed, yeah.
by his handcuffs, and they're doing this. They're taking him in the corner. They doing this to him in the corner, choking him up, doing this, wringing his neck, putting the foot in his. I saw one officer in the video, and I forget the names, but if you look up the story, you'll see yourself. It's kind of a graphic video because one officer takes his entire foot and jumps back and jumps forward and kicks this man dead in his chest. And I'm like, ain't there's no reason for none of this. But I just
I
wanted to bring.
agree. I agree with that. So when I say this, don't take this as being malicious, but I wonder what he did to set them off like that. I mean, regardless of what it was, there's no reason for him to be treated the way he was. But I'm just out of curious and being nosy. What was it that he did to set all of them off like that? And this was all off of one of the prisoner guards' body cam, correct?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And officers were purposely staying in front of him to cover the video that they was doing. So all of them, that tells me they knew something was wrong. They were doing was wrong. It's just
Hmm.
like, and my wife said this to me, so I'm gonna say what she said. But It's just like serial killers. They hide the body, so they know they doing some shit wrong. They know they
Right.
doing some shit wrong. They hide the
I
body.
like that. I like that.
they had.
I didn't see nobody. Hitchhiking when? Where? Oh, that's terrible.
They know they doing some shit wrong,
Right.
morally wrong, but they just don't give a shit. And that's what I felt watching that video. Because I mean, they were beating the shit out of this man. They was beating the hell out of him, dropping elbows, punches. He all bloody and bruised up. And then they called for EMS because he stopped, like he stopped breathing.
Hey, can you
And
resuscitate him so we can beat him some more?
it was, but I just wanted to touch on that. That was just
Hey, so let me ask you a question. I never asked this. I've seen it and I really didn't take it seriously when I saw it, but I just saw it again recently and I really got to ask. Is that video of the inmate riding the motorcycle in the prison, is that Puffy for real?
I don't believe it's they saying it is. I don't know. I don't know. It
I
could
mean,
be.
but
I don't know.
regardless, how the fuck do you sneak a motorcycle in for a motherfucker to ride around with?
Man.
I saw it and it's just like at first it's like and I'm like, wait a minute, how the fuck did you sneak a motorcycle in?
Hey, somebody got some pull somewhere. If
Obviously,
if El Chapo can dig an underground tunnel, hey, they can do anything.
man, that's one guy that just didn't take advantage of his luck. He escaped twice. Man, I'm laying the fuck low big time. I'm going to some non-extraditionary, country that I can't be extradited from, and I'm setting up my base operations there. That was some crazy shit. He built the tunnel. Hell, let's take it even further. Pablo Escobar, he said, "No, I'm not going to turn myself into your jail. This is what I'm going to do. I got this compound I'm building there. I'm going to just stay in there. House arrest. What do you think? And he had access to everything, women, drugs, whatever, the finest foods, whatever, being, brought in and out. Yeah.
I always wanted to ask you this because you're a hip hop story, and you know the real Rick Ross story. You know that too. So I wanted to ask you: do you believe the what Rick Ross portrayed, the real one, is the CIA purposely allows cartels and drug dealers to exist for money, to be floored in, to support certain agendas?
You know what? Based off of that statement, and I never heard it, but yeah, I do. Because with that comes the hush money that's paid out to let them allow that shit through, or this person's coming in or send that out. Here's a little cash. They do it amongst themselves and get the fat pockets. But I guess when negotiations go sour, they become part of the most wanted list. So yeah, I do. Just like, how it has been proven that the government was supplying, you know, us with the cocaine, during the crack era. There's financial gain out of it until it doesn't until it doesn't benefit them anymore. Manuel Noriega, Panama, do the research. He was one of those guys that was getting paid by the government until he started being disobedient. Then it's all of a sudden, let's go get his ass and arrest him. Let's hush him up. It's almost, this analogy just came to me. It's just almost like when they stop being disobedient, you got to hush them up. Just like when, we had the 60s, we had Malcolm X, we had Martin Luther King, and they were kind of speaking about things to uplift us and encourage us and move us. It was like, we got to shut him up. What did they do? They assassinated him.
I
So
always,
yeah, I do
I
believe
always,
government has part of that. Yeah.
I always think it's crazy to me to think some of these drug dealers were making 60 million a month. Like I didn't know. Jokingly, I'm like, is people out here smoking that much crack? I mean, just
Look. You looking at it, you looking at it from a small scope. You looking at them, bringing the stuff into the United States. We're not the only one that's getting supplied cocaine. These other countries are too. I've heard stories about, because drug dealers can't deposit their money into banks. It's in the basement and stuff, and they lose like 10 grand a day because the rats are chewing away at the money. I believe that the rats they got so much money, and they don't miss it. They don't miss that 10 grand a day that the rats chew on, or whatever, compared to the money that they're making overall. But I've become addicted to a new show. Well, it's not new. It's been on for about a year or so that I know of. Something about oh, I can't think of it. Crossing the border or something, and then they show basically the border patrol in Mexico. There's different points of entry in Mexico where, of course, they're trying to smuggle in drugs or trying to smuggle their money back into Mexico.
I
And
think I think that's called border patrol.
it's
That's like
something
a
crossing the border or something border, because now they got one for the airport and they got one for sea base operations too. But the border patrol is actually the border patrol. There's like different locations on the Mexico, United States border, which are points of entry.
I thought I thought it was oh, okay. Contraband sees the border.
There you
Seized
go,
at the border.
bingo. Seized at the
Okay.
border. There's
Yeah.
a seized at the airport, and there's a seized at sea also. And they
Yeah.
show all these elaborate ways of smuggling drugs into the country. And so guns are hard to come by in Mexico. So America is their number one supplier in the sense that they're being smuggled from the states to Mexico. So people get checked at the border crossing into Mexico. If they You can only declare so much amount of money, and if you don't get no proof of, they will confiscate that money. And on the other end, it's the drugs coming in from Mexico. Uh, when I say drugs, I'm talking about still marijuana, methamphetamines, because it's low cost to make, but it's a high yield. Heroin, cocaine, all that stuff, and the elaborate ways that they try to smuggle the stuff is amazing. They smuggle it in car batteries. They put the paneling on there, but they don't stop every car. They might stop you on a profile. They'll question you, and if they have like body behavioral analysis. They can tell by your fidgets and loss of eye contact and your stuttering or whatever if you seem suspicious. And when that secondary uh, search might be either a drug sniffing dog or pushing your vehicle through an X-ray machine to check for the anomalies, and they'll break that shit apart until they find what they're looking for. It's crazy. It's worth checking out. It's really entertaining.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I just saved it to my Amazon thing.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, but that's a great show. But yeah, I believe the government has some doing in smuggling drugs into the United States.
Well,
It's a payday.
my next question, what would be their main agenda for doing that though?
Money. They figure it's gonna get in somehow, some way. They might just get a little taste of it.
That's
And
crazy.
and you really have to be teetering on to that moral compass as to agree to allow that to happen, whether it's you're in debt, or you're just greedy, or you think it's an easy payday. But then you got some people that can't be bartered with, or influenced to let things get by. Those are the troublemakers in their eyes. And they will go so far as to, if they have access to your family members, they're like, yeah, what about your grandmother that stays on 113 Easton Drive? That would be like, whoa, not my nana. That then they'll do it. But other than that, they really have to be coerced into doing that, whether it's greed or they're threatening family. I think the thing about it though, as I watch the show, I don't think they should be showing the faces of the border agents
Yeah, you
on these
putting them at
shows.
risk. Yeah, you putting them at risk.
Hmm.
Putting them at severe. Man, they they'll try to find you in any way they can.
So the only ones that the faces are covered up in their purpose, they have the little thing that goes over their nose like a little mask or whatever. Is ones that's like probably like I want to say like SWAT special ops or something like that, like a tactical unit. Those they have their faces covered, but I think the everyday border agents should have their faces covered as well.
I remember watching a movie about that actually too, where they basically had pictures of a man's family, and he was a border agent, and he had pictures of his family saying that we're gonna kill your daughter if you don't let this car go through at this particular time. He's gonna
There's
leave
a
you
Netflix
in.
movie out that just came out about a month ago called Carry On. They're threatening this TSA agent. Look, my guy's going to put this on a conveyor belt. You make sure that package goes through. Uh, Obviously, he does let the package go through, but I guess he has a change of heart or mind, and he tries to stop that package from, you know, even getting on the plane. But check it out. It's called Carry on Netflix.
All right, I think that's a good segue to go into fun facts. And mine's crazy. Mine's crazy. You want to start, or you want mine to go first?
All right, I got a few fun facts about Chicago.
Okay.
Uh, Inventions made famous by Chicagoans or in Chicago. I just got five of them: the refrigerated rail car, the car radio, the TV remote control, the brownie, and the game of 16-inch softball was all created here in Chicago.
Dang, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I never thought about it. I mean, I use a remote control all the damn time, but I never thought about where it came from or who done it. You know, uh, it's not till I hear random facts that it was a female that came up with the concept of 3D, you know, the 3D television or 3D vision. It was a black female that created that concept.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I my fun facts is, well, one's a little more graphic, but you are more likely to die on the street than you are in prison.
Okay, I can believe that.
Yeah.
No,
And
I can believe
my
that. Just throw everything at it. Car accidents, robberies. You know, bullets have no names. I can see that.
my next one is just listing off some black inventions that I didn't know about, which I think is crazy. The traffic light,
Yes, Garrett Morris.
Gary Morgan. The gas mask. I didn't know Gary Morgan invented that as well. The home security system. That was invented by a black person.
Okay.
Mary Van Brown in 1966. She invented that. The dryer was invented by a black person.
Hmm.
The refrigerators, Frederick Jones, 1935.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. What's the other one I had? Blood blank storage. Dr. Charles Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know this, so I just
No, so
educated myself.
some of those facts, like growing up in grammar school in the 80s, uh, especially being in a black neighborhood, in the classroom, basically not all four walls, but at least three walls would be lined with famous black inventors and some of those inventions that you made. But I remember them going through like three of the walls, maybe four, but it'd be lined with the person and the inventions that they made. So yeah, the traffic light, the gas mask, and the blood storage, I was aware of. Yeah.
I got one that I wouldn't have never guessed either. It has to do with cars too, and I don't think you would guess it either. But it's a main function of a car we invented.
The
Mm,
turn signal.
the automatic gear shift.
Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. What's his name? Richard Spikes, 1932.
Do you think do you think his family's getting any residuals from his invention?
I hope so. Jesus, that's kind of
I
effed up, man.
I seriously doubt it.
I hope so. I mean, just to think though, all these things black people have invented. I always think in my mind, people, racist people would be like, "Well, you don't like this country, leave." I, I'll be like, "Well, can we take everything we invented?"
Everything we invented with us. So wow. Really, let's think about that. Let's kind of expand that a little bit. Uh Homework for next week. Let's get a more detailed list. Let's go about 20 things that was invented by the African American that would really surprise people. We need to work on that.
Okay, okay.
And so also next week, by the time we record, Donald Trump will have been inaugurated.
Mm-hmm.
So we can also go over the
And I
executive
gotta,
orders that he implemented that same day.
yeah, I don't know how that's gonna go, but we'll see. And I always want to, and maybe the audience can educate me, but when executive orders go out, the state has to accept it, right? He can't just force a federal mandate, I guess you want to call it, on the state. They have to accept it. Like there's
That's a
still
good
some,
question, and I mean, a lot of executive orders have passed through. What's the process?
yeah,
Do you just, as the president, write it down and say this is a law or this is a new amendment or whatever? What's the process for that?
yeah. I would educate us, please, if you're saying this, educate us, because I want to know what the checks and balance on that is.
Because if I ever become president, 4 out of the 7 days will be a Friday. It'll be Friday one, Friday two, Friday three, Friday four. No, I'm just joking. I come up with something real crazy just to say, yeah, there go that fucking Elroy. This is crazy ass laws. Yeah,
Your number one.
everyone will just wear a hat on the Friday, with the propeller on it. Yeah, I just go crazy with it.
I thought you was gonna say something crazy like replace all churches with strip clubs. And
You heathen, you heathen. I would never dare say that on camera. No, I wouldn't do that. I would do something fun just to be like, damn, that's weird as hell, but okay. We got to wear the propeller hats on Monday or whatever the fuck. All right, or we'll get arrested. What the fuck? Yeah. Uh, no, let's quit while we're ahead. Brandon, it was an honor. I think this is like our maybe our fourth or fifth duo, so to say. And to say Jeremy is missed, and I'm sure, hopefully I'm missed when I'm not showing up. So you're the only one that's been consistent so time. You're the only one with perfect attendance.
Hey, I wanna.
Gold star.
I no, I probably say this too much on the show, but I definitely want to thank you and Jeremy. Whether y'all here or not, y'all definitely make yourselves a part of the show. All the time. So whether it's
Yes.
providing topics, providing information, coming up with ideas and everything. So
Hmm.
definitely appreciate you guys all the time on this.
Oh
This
yeah,
is
same. I mean, and then same goes for you for even bringing this forum about. Other than that, I don't know what will my Wednesday evenings consist of. But now it's like, hey, I got to leave work, got to do this podcast. And then as soon as I can, I try to watch it. But folks, that's it. I guess, you know, uh, Brandon has his parting words, and I'm gonna let him say it.
definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys enjoyed your episode week. What is episode 32? And definitely, we're gonna continue to educate, inspire, and hopefully entertain you
Entertain.
guys. Yes, hopefully entertain you, and make you laugh too. So hope you guys enjoy.
That's going to go in the next